So Hades has been the game on everyone's lips recently, and I'll be honest, I wasn't really inclined to try it. I thought it kind of was overrated, I thought it didn't look that interesting, and I was kind of ready to pass over it. But obviously the Steam sale is happening at the moment, and Hades was on offer, and I thought, you know, let's try it. Maybe I've prejudged this, maybe I've misjudged this. And so I got the game, and as you guys can see from the footage in front of you, I've played it, and I was shocked. I'm not typically a fan of isometric games. I generally avoid them. They're not something that particularly interests me in most cases, and so I thought that would probably be the case with Hades. And so when friends were saying that it was good, I was kind of like brushing it off. I was like, ugh, another person who's bought into the hype. And now I see why they bought into the hype. It's an unknown variable to me, really. I don't typically have an interest in this type of camera angle, this type of gameplay, but something different happened with this game. And there's a few reasons why I think that is. And so the premise of this video is why I shouldn't have misjudged Hades. The thing with Hades that I found kind of immediately interesting was the fact that it just drops you in there. You know, you start and you're just like let out there. You just go. And they don't tell you much about how things work. They kind of just say, hey, for the first time, go out, try your best. If you die, you die. And obviously that's because the mechanics of the game encourage death in a way. They encourage you to go out, try something. If you fail, you come back and try again. And that was interesting in and of itself. But then to have a situation where as you're doing that as well, the story develops. And from your first line that you get, which is literally just goodbye father, to a sprawling kind of interaction between, you know, characters like Hypnos, Achilles, Nyx, Hades, you know, you see Cerberus, you're getting upgrades for the House of Hades. And so everything starts to kind of slowly tumble out of this first goodbye father line. It's just kind of like, okay, so we get a premise, and then we kind of build on it, and then we build it with the other gods and their relation to Zagreus and their relation to Hades as well. And it just kind of all begins to kind of create this tapestry. And I think what lends itself to that is such a rich mythology that Supergiant can pull from here. You know, they have a very interesting premise for a game anyway, and so they've kind of utilized that to the fullest in their game. What makes that even more vibrant, more interesting, is it's not just that those things exist in the game as mechanics, but they're kind of supported through an amazing art style. I think this art style is something that is really fresh, but really inviting too. If you've not been part of this genre before, I don't think it's a hard game to kind of visually understand. For me at least, I knew what was happening pretty much instantly. And that kind of lends to the simplicity of the game as well. I mean, you know, things kind of heap on as you continue, but you kind of don't really have to learn much besides, you know, you've got one button that is your basic attack, you've got a special, you've got a long-ranged attack, and you've got like an ultimate type situation. You know, obviously there's a few other things that happen as well, but generally that's kind of the premise of the game. And so you kind of get a grasp of the game in no time at all, and it was fun. I genuinely thought, oh, I'll make a video on this, that'll be kind of cool. But you know, I'll probably not play it again. But since even recording the footage that you guys are seeing now, I've already went back to the game. I mean, I only started playing it today. This video is going up the same day. And it's just something you start thinking about. You start thinking, hey, when am I going to get back to the game? What am I going to do on the game? How can I beat that next boss? How can I get this next boon, this next room completed? And it just kind of goes on like that. You kind of want to do the next thing constantly. It's kind of addictive in a way. Perhaps, for example, I'm stuck right now on Megara, the first Fury, and you know, I've lost to her like 3 times now, but I don't feel angry at that loss because I do see the progress. I see every time I'm going in there, I'm learning a little bit more about how her fight works or how my abilities are working, and it's refreshing. Unlike other games where you die, and sometimes if you die, you just go back to a save point and nothing really happens from that. You know, you haven't really grown because you've learned nothing. You've gained nothing from that time spent. In this game, any time you spend is valuable because you're learning something, you're improving something. Yes, you lose certain aspects. You lose like the boons you get from the gods, for example. But what you gain in return is the kind of knowledge of, oh, when the next boon comes from a god, that one's an interesting one to have. That actually works. That one's not as strong. And so you get this situation where you're starting to learn slowly what's beneficial, what isn't. And you kind of cultivate your own playstyle. And that's another thing. The fact that there's no right playstyle is great as well. You know, seeing these different layouts of rooms and different takes on the enemies is something that I've not seen in a game, really. I've seen, you know, parts of this in other games, or inklings of this, or hints of this. But to see something that's totally kind of compartmentalized and can kind of be reshifted and reorganized generally on the fly is something that's really interesting, really new, really fresh. I mean, even if, as I sit here, and obviously I haven't played a huge amount of the game. I have played about 2 hours, 3 hours at this point. There's not really many things that I could critique it on, and generally I do critique. You know, if you guys watch any of my other videos, you know I generally like to weigh up both sides. But I'm kind of overcome with this feeling that I don't get that off of just sheer enjoyment of a game. You know, I always enjoy games, but I always think that could be a little bit better, or hey, if we did it that way, that would be more interesting, or that could have been handled a little more tactfully. And so to go into a game and be like, hey, I like this as is something very rare and something very unique. And so I am exceedingly happy with Hades. I'm exceedingly happy with Supergiant. I'm exceedingly happy with every unique facet of this game. I think it's something that I want to spend a lot of time getting to know all of these intimate details about it. And so what I'm probably going to do is be streaming this game a lot, kind of slowly going through, slowly trekking through, you know, working towards my first win, working towards, you know, the stuff after that, and just enjoying a game. I think more recently, especially as I've been trying to diversify channel content, I've lost that a little bit, lost enjoyment for games as games, and Hades thankfully has kind of restored that. And so in a way I want to say thanks to Hades, thanks to Supergiant. You guys have given me a game that I sit here and think, wow, I want to play that right now. You know, I keep wanting to come back to Hades, and I think that's exactly what I'm going to do. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please let me know. I'd love to do some more Hades videos for you guys. Maybe show some of my fails, show some of my successes, or generally just show some fun times with the game. I will, as I said before, probably end up streaming this too. So if you guys would like to check out my Twitch, it will be in the description of this video. You'll find me streaming 3 nights a week. I can't give times as yet, as those will be changing shortly. But if you guys tune in on a Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, you might just see me playing some Hades in the coming weeks. Otherwise, guys, please check out my other socials in the description, my Discord, my Twitter, and my Patreon. Thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.